Well, it's a nice day, so we're gonna clip horses and I'm gonna show you how I do it. So these are my clippers. I don't recommend them if all you're clipping is horses because they're big and they're loud and they're just, they're more livestock clippers than horse clippers. This is my cooling spray. I have it, but I don't necessarily use it that much. I've oiled my clippers already and then I'll oil them periodically while I do it. It's about every 15 minutes and I can probably get both the horses that I want to do done before I have to oil them. When I get done, this is how I'm going to clean them. Probably clip, I probably won't use the coolant, and then I'll use my cleaner and then I'll oil them when I'm done. I'm still working on staying in frame and I'm not super good at it. But anyway, I'm going to start with Lady Doll. She's 16, she's done this her whole life. She should act better than she does, but at this point I've given up on trying. She does not like fly spray. It's like her pet peeve, and at this point she does a lot, she's good at a lot. I'll let her have her little things that she doesn't like. With her, I don't worry about desensitizing her to the clippers. I just turn them on and go. I'm going to start with her muzzle. I'm going to clip under her chin and go along her jawline, and then I will work my way up her nose and around her nostrils and around the front of her muzzle. Next, I'm going to move to her eyes. I'm going to take the long lashes, but not the little ones, and I'm still going to leave some, about half an inch to an inch. Their eyelashes are their natural protection against sun, wind, dust, and bugs. Next, I'm going to do the bridle path, and when you measure your bridle path, you take their ear and you lay it back along their neck, and that's how deep you're going to go into their mane, from the center of their head back. And I did this already this year, so I know how deep I'm going. Now for the ears. A lot of horses don't like their ears clipped, and all I do is fold her ear shut and take out the long hairs that stick out, just to shape them up a little bit. And she doesn't like it because it tickles. She doesn't act any better with a pair of scissors. A lot of horses, if they don't like the sound of the clippers, you can get their ears clipped with a pair of scissors. And her, I just deal with and just keep clipping. The clippers don't hurt them. She's just kind of being a brat about it. And I took her for a ride after this, and she was being a brat on her ride. It was the day that I decided to do it, and she wasn't acting nice. Now I'm moving on to the legs. You can clip all four legs. What I'm clipping is the long hair underneath the fetlock. I'm going to take off the hair on the front legs because it helps my sport boots and polo wraps fit the leg more comfortably and more securely. Hair, again, is a natural form of protection. It helps protect the horse's fetlocks from like road rash or any kind of burns when they sit down and dig, which is more likely to happen on the hind legs. If I'm going to a fancier show where I do trim all four fetlocks, then I be sure to booty all four legs when I'm doing any kind of work. Now on to Kutta. I've only clipped her once so far this year, and she's not as desensitized to the clippers as some of my other horses, so I'm going to show you kind of how I'm working with her. When I first start with the clippers, I start with them off and I let her smell them and see them and make sure she's aware that that's what we're doing today. And then I want her to be looking at them, and I start them away from her body before bringing them in, and I start hovering around her and not actually touching her and getting her used to the noise before I start clipping. And then I take them away and shut them off. That way she gets a reward for not reacting and standing still. And then we're going to start them back up. I'm going to make sure she's looking at them, and I'm going to touch her on her body where she's less likely to be ticklish. Then I'm going to start with her bridle path and her ears, which is typically the hardest part to clip on a horse because they don't like it that close to their ears. They don't like it where they can't see it. And I'm not actually clipping her. I'm just holding it up to her ear, letting her listen. And she tried to walk away. So I held that there until she relaxed, and then I shut him off, and she's like, I'm over you and I'm done with this. And so we got kind of tangled up, but we got untangled and I got her turned back around. And now I'm just going to keep bringing the clippers closer and holding them there and letting her react until she calms down and gives me a sign of relaxation before I shut them off and give her the reward of taking them away. She took her head out of frame, but I'm actually clipping her bridle path now, and she wasn't too bad about it. Now that I'm done with her bridle path, I'm going to shut them off and give her another break. This really helps get horses more comfortable with getting clipped. A lot of little breaks, a lot of reward for standing still and being good. Now that I'm moved on to her muzzle, you can tell she's a lot more relaxed because she can see the clippers and she can see what's making the noise, and it doesn't bother her as bad. So she's not super ticklish. It's the noise that she really isn't a fan of. I'm taking the long hairs off of her eyes as well. I'm going to do both eyes, and then I'm going to move on to the ears. Last time I clipped her, I didn't mess with clipping her ears at all. I just held the clippers up there and let her listen to the sound a little bit. This time, I'm going to continue to do that with getting her to relax with the clippers next to him, and I'm just going to take off one pass so she can get used to the feeling. And I'm still using pressure and the release as a reward. I go ahead and I hold him up there and let her react, and then as soon as she calms down or gives me a sign that she's okay with it, I take away the pressure and give her that relief as a reward. Last time I clipped her, I didn't do her fetlocks either, so this time, since I didn't do them before and I don't know how she's going to react, I'm going to go ahead and pick her foot up and work with it while I'm holding it. That way she's less likely to stomp and jerk, and if she does react, I can feel her move before I see her. And she did just fine. So I went ahead and continued to trim. And then on the next leg, I'm not going to pick it up. I'm just going to go down her leg and trim while she's standing up, because that's actually easier for me and not have that bend in the fetlock. Now that I'm on this side, I need to do the same thing to this ear. I'm going to take a pass off of the long hair, and then I'm just going to hold it until she relaxes and take it away. Just as I've said before, we're just working on desensitization. For those of you who haven't seen my horse project playlist, you should check it out. This is a horse that I picked up a few months ago. Not necessarily that I wanted or needed, but she came out of a bad situation, and so far she has been a very wonderful horse. Hopefully we can fine-tune a few things and find her forever home someday and get her sold soon. Okay, now that I'm done, I put a little bit of my blade care in a little butter tub so I don't get the whole thing messy. And then knock off all the extra hair. This would work better if I had a little bitty brush to brush that all off, but I don't know where it's at. So I'll just wipe it off as good as I can with my finger, and then you start them and you put it in the solution, the blade part, for 10 seconds, and the dirt kind of just comes off. And then I'm going to take a paper towel and just wipe off the excess. Just kind of give it a little polish. And then when I get done with that, I need to use this to lubricate. And there's little holes that I put it in. I put a drop there, drop there, a drop there, and a drop there. And then I go in the blade, 1, 2, 3. And then I also put a little oil in the sides. And then I run them again just to get the oil worked in. And that's it. I'll wipe off some of the oil. And that's it. That's what I do when I clip.